never have a greater achievement than getting this team to the finals.
Vintage LeBron James racing back to reject the dunk attempt from Terry Rozier.
This can't just be another line in the history books. This was like winning a championship for LeBron.
Game 7 is heating up in Boston.
Here we go.
Held him under 100, but he still scored 35. It's a joke.
The Eastern Conference Finals went the distance. So did LeBron James. It is 8 straight NBA Finals.
It's ridiculous.
What if it was better than vintage LeBron? What if it just wasn't a vintage LeBron performance? What if this is the best LeBron? He's only getting better. Was last night the best night of his career? His head coach thinks so. It's Golic and Wingo. Jason Fitz in for Trey. Junior in for Mike. This hour of Golic and Wingo presented by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book at LQ.com and win at business. We're presented by Progressive Insurance, and I think that's one of the things that really strikes me about it. We continue to say vintage LeBron, but there is sort of, to use the cliche adage, sort of the fine wine LeBron. It feels like LeBron's only getting better with time.
And I know it frustrates a lot of people because they think our network and sports talk in general just spends too much time covering LeBron James, but at this point, I don't know how you expect us not to when we ask our stars to step up and be at their best in the most important time of year, and you've got one guy that does it over and over again. The result shouldn't be, I'm sick of this particular guy doing it. It should be, oh my God, how is this still possible? And what we saw last night was another added layer to that.
Well, Ty Lue afterwards was asked if he thought it was the best performance of LeBron's career. This is what LeBron's coach had to say about last night's epic game.
I mean, the bigger the stage, the bigger the player. And he's been doing it for us since we've been here. And, the great quote from the great Doc Rivers is, you always want to go into the Game 7 with the best player. And, we have the best player on our team going into a Game 7. I like our chances. And he delivered again.
Epic night from LeBron. Ty Lue acknowledges an epic night.
And the great quote from the wise Doc Clippers. Show favorite.
Show favorite?
Oh, yeah. Doc Clippers, my dad's favorite coach.
Wow, that's
Doc Clippers?
He gets a little excited sometimes, does Dad. So
Doc Clippers?
I do remember hearing
a quote from the great Doc Clippers.
Yeah, that's something. You know what? Your dad's going to be with us tomorrow, so we should be nice today, right?
No, we should be mean today because there's no chance if he's not on, he's not listening.
Oh,
so
that's a fair point.
You
He's
should
not
be listening. You didn't fly back and get back at midnight last night. You should be up listening to us, getting ready for the cookout.
Yeah, and still, I'll ask your dad tomorrow where my golf invite is.
By the way, take the over 2 hours into this show before you mention trying to get involved in the Golic and Wingo leadership retreat.
Playing it classy.
I would take the under.
I'm playing it classy. Several people on Twitter were like, why haven't you asked yet? I'm just dipping my toe in those waters. Besides, I know he's not powerful enough to affect change. I'm waiting until somebody hears. Let's get to a little bit of what's trending. LeBron James, we were just talking about it, headed to his 8th straight NBA Finals after an 87-79 win over the Celtics on Sunday night, eliminating Boston from the Eastern Conference Finals in the decisive 7th game.
This first close game in the Eastern Conference Finals is also the lowest scoring and the first victory for a road team in the series. LeBron James played all 48 minutes yet again, giving this team exactly what they needed. And the difference was that supporting cast that we always talked about needing to step up. In the first half, they were, 1 of 6 off LeBron James pass attempts, including 5 of 6 open looks on mostly three-pointers. And in the second half, they start knocking down all those looks. In the second half, J.R. Smith, who's had a horrific shooting series, hit his first three-pointer in Boston of the entire series last night and decided to follow it up with 2 more. They gave this team the lift that it needed in addition to the greatness of LeBron James.
Oh, yeah, but once J.R. Smith started hitting them, you were like, sorry, Celtics, it's just not your night. Live for another year. There's no way around it. Once he gets hot, you're done.
It was J.R. Smith's tribute to Kevin Love, who is his favorite sideline amigo, the buddy cop drama that I don't want, I need. And last night, Kevin Love out in the concussion protocol still, and his team was able to step up.
Most important thing for Kevin Love is I hope that he can get back and healthy in time to be cleared for the finals so that we can have an opportunity to see something competitive. Speaking of the finals, to get there, we got to get through the Houston Rockets returning home tonight, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, which you can hear right here, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, against the defending champion, Golden State Warriors.
Yep, Chris Paul's status still up in the air at this point, going to be reevaluated all the way up until the tip-off, and that really seems like the key to the game right now, the hamstring of Chris Paul after all of the work that the Rockets have done beating up the Warriors this series and getting them to play their brand of basketball. Will it come down to a player that may not be on the court or be a much lesser version of himself because of that injury?
Well, and whatever version of CP3 we get, we know we're going to have to get more from James Harden. We've talked about that a lot. We're also going to have to get more from Clint Capella, somebody that during the regular season has been money and dependable and reliable, and in the playoffs has been a little bit more hit and miss. Capella's going to have to come out and be lights out, I think, for them to have any chance in this.
Well, and we've seen some of their best games early on in this series was when Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker and the guys on this supporting cast came out and had not only just good performances, but playoff high performances for those particular players. So early on, that was what this team needed. And if Chris Paul is going to be hobbled or out, they're going to need that kind of effort again from the rest of this crew.
Before we get back to some NBA, we've got to get you caught up on some racing. Busch marked off the only track where a points race victory had eluded him on Sunday night, leading 377 of 400 laps in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
He's the only driver in NASCAR's modern era to win a points race at every NASCAR track on the schedule. He started on the pole, won every stage in the circuit's longest race, and left everyone else fighting for second on the way to a fourth victory of the season. So a lot of racing action in play yesterday. You had the Grand Prix going on in Monaco where Tom Brady was out just throwing passes from yacht to yacht. Everyone, no matter what your flavor was in the world of racing, they had a little something for you yesterday.
I feel like that's just a Tuesday in Tomville. Like just throwing passes yacht to yacht.
That is kind of what we all assume his life is, when really it's sitting in a dark film room, not eating nightshades all day. We all just assume it's yacht to yacht, Giselle somewhere being a supermodel.
Yeah, well,
life is great. And like an ambassador for a country and a politician.
It's good to be Tom. So that gets caught up on what's trending. The only person better than Tom, ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst. He's joining us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Wendy, thanks for some time early this morning, man. We appreciate it. Put into perspective sort of your thoughts on what you saw from LeBron last night.
Well, you had statistically, it wasn't even one of his probably 10 best games of the postseason. But when you consider everything that he had to deal with, and it's easy to forget because people just move game to game. But he was playing his third game in 5 days, and he played an obscene amount of minutes in those times. He was also nursing an injury because he had a contusion on his leg on Friday night, and so for him to be able to get through 48 minutes and put up those points and that kind of production to win a Game 7 on the road, where a team that had been 10-0 at home this year, and granted it was not the Celtics' best game, but it was their third game in 5 nights too, and they only really playing 7 guys, and sort of to win that war of attrition, it's one of the finest moments of his career. I mean, I know it's a hard sell to people who only look at championships, and I really don't have much I can say to those people. If that's the route you want to go, then that's fine. But I think it would be irresponsible to look at his 9 Eastern Conference championships and say this is like the rest of them. He's never had to run a gauntlet like this, not necessarily with his opponents, but with the challenges that have been put in front of him with his team. And you put it all together, and it was a pretty remarkable and impressive thing. And I don't know if it'll be lost to history, but it ought not to be.
Talking to Brian Windhorst in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And LeBron was stellar through the course of that game, and we've talked about the looks and situations that he found his teammates in that they didn't knock down in the first half but started to in the second half. What was the difference overall for this Cleveland team in an area and an arena in Boston on the road where they had struggled for the rest of the series?
Well, they slowed the game way down. And so that helped LeBron be able to just control the pace a little bit. And they played ugly. And frankly, the Celtics probably should have built a 20 or 25-point lead in the early going when nobody besides LeBron could hit a shot. I think out of their first, 25 points, LeBron scored like 16 or 18 of them. And the Celtics were not really able to extend the lead. And when they did that, they basically gave the steal sign, because at some point, if you continue to let them have open shots, they're going to start making them. And it was a combination of factors. It took Terry Rozier going 0 for 10 and Marcus Smart going 1 for 10 from three-point range, plus the Cavs guys waking up. But, it wasn't just a singular thing. The Celtics did not play their best game. But that's what, it was reminiscent to me of the 2016 Game 7 in the finals. The Warriors did not play their best game that night. And LeBron didn't play his best game either. He had a triple-double, but that was an ugly game because by Game 7 they were just tired. And so they were able to get it to the point where they uglied it up enough where the best player can make a bigger difference. I mean, the slower the pace of the game, the uglier the game, the more impact he can have. And so it really felt a lot like 2016. And, those are the two Game 7s he's won on the road. To win a Game 7 on the road, it's probably going to have to be a game like that because by definition, if you're playing on the road in Game 7, you're probably the outman team. And that was certainly the case in this series as it was 2 years ago.
You're listening to Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio. Jason Fitz in for Trey, Jr. in for Mike. We're talking to ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst. Can you make sense of sort of the Celtics offense in the last 5 minutes of the game for us? Because it felt like it was haphazard at best near the end of the game.
They were holding on for dear life. They lost the control of the rope. They lost the game. What I mean by that is they were playing outside themselves. And, that's the thing about experience at this level, to score under that kind of pressure when the game just becomes a slog, you really have to have your wits about you. And they just don't have the 10,000 hours. I mean, LeBron does. And even some of those Cavs players do. Guys like Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, guys who were performing last night, those guys have a lot of playoff games. They've won playoff games like that before. So I think the Celtics' future is incredibly bright, but they lost that game in the first half when they didn't put it away because, they were home. And had they been able to just hit a couple more shots and extend that lead out, the Cavs might have been the ones who let go of the rope. But it was not the Celtics' best performance, but I also think that they probably will look back at this and wonder, in 2 or 3 years they'll look back at this and laugh and slap their foreheads and, can't believe. LeBron definitely got away with beating a team that was a little bit young. And he knows that he won't probably get away with that even in a year. But last night that was the case, and he did get away with it.
Talking to Brian Windhorst on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. You mentioned all the things LeBron had to overcome in this, one of which was the absence of their all-star power forward in Kevin Love. What does it say about this team that basically for the last 2 games, they were able to go out and put this all on their back without the assistance of one of their best players?
Well, I think it actually helps them defensively against Boston. In fact, if you listen to Brad Stevens closely, he thought he didn't come right out and say it, but he thought it actually hurt the Celtics game plan if Kevin Love wasn't out there. Because if you really chart the games, they're the central part of their offensive game plan. The first 5 games, wherever Kevin Love was, they attacked him. They took more shots against Kevin Love. The guy he was guarding took more shots significantly in the first 5 games than anybody else. So now, when Love is making his own shots, it's survivable for the Cavs. But Love wasn't. Love was only shooting 38% in the series. So he was kind of being a bit of a negative for them. Now, that said, he has had great playoff games before, and if he was in the lineup yesterday, he might have hit 3 3-pointers or 4 3-pointers in the first half, completely overwhelmed the Celtics, and it would have been a different story. But when Kevin Love is not shooting the ball well, his defensive deficiencies make it hard for him to be on the floor. And so he wasn't shooting the ball well when the Cavs went to Jeff Green, who has been playing well, has played well the last 2.5 games. You get a much more dynamic defensive player, specifically a player who can play 2 or 3 positions. And so from a straight X and O's matchup, it works out better for the Cavs to have Jeff Green out there if Kevin Love's not going to make shots. So in a strange way, I actually think it actually fed in and helped the Cavs win. But the Celtics, again, missed the opportunity. With nobody helping LeBron, with no Kevin Love out there to help him early on, they needed to step on the Cavs' throats, and they let them get back in the game. They let them have a close game at halftime when they should have been way ahead, and it mitigated the Love loss.
Wendy, real quick before we let you go, I understand the answer of, well, LeBron can do anything. But realistically, when you look at this Cavs team top to bottom, do you think they can compete with whoever comes out of the West in the finals?
No, probably not. but they should have lost the first round, to be honest with you. The Pacers were the better team. So they will continue to work that, and they'll open the door for the team that they play to give them a game or two. Chris Paul will not be ready to start the finals, I don't believe. And Andre Iguodala he's questionable at best, going forward. And those teams are going to have less time off, and they're only playing like 7 guys each. So the Cavs may have very slim just rest and depth advantage going in, but over the course of a long series, I find it next to impossible. But you play it out. This is what I would say. The same thing I said in 2016, which is you run out the ground ball. You run out the ground ball because you don't know if there's a sprained ankle or something like that can change the thing, and that's the way I'm sure they're going to approach it.
Speaking of ankles and hamstrings, how do you see those injuries playing out in the Game 7 tonight in the Western Conference? We know Chris Paul is still questionable, being evaluated right up until the tip-off. If this team has to go without him or with him very hobbled, how does this affect Game 7?
I would be absolutely stunned if Chris Paul played in that game. And if he did, it would be a Willis Reed symbolic situation. Both of those teams are banged up a little bit. Those teams have played a lot of minutes. Also playing their third game in 5 days. I'm not expecting the best basketball there either. So I think it'll probably be a grind, but I think the Warriors have so much firepower, and especially without Chris Paul, it's going to be hard at home. Houston really needs a transcendent game from a fringe player. They need, they need Eric Gordon to have 28 points. They need, something like that to, they PJ Tucker to have 22 points. They really need someone to deliver in a way we don't expect it, which sometimes happens at home in the playoffs.
Follow him on Twitter at WindhorseESPN. Brian, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on with us, my friend.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care.
So it's interesting because not only did he say CP3, he'd be stunned to play tonight, he doesn't think CP3, he doesn't think Chris Paul, should they win tonight, will be ready for the beginning of the finals.
Yeah, that's a pretty damning proclamation for a team, and he mentioned it. This is why you continue to just try and run out the ground ball is really the perfect analogy for this, because we go into every season essentially saying the same thing, that if everything holds and you don't factor in injury, the Warriors should win everything. But we understand in sports, injury is the surest part of this. Like to say, I said it the other day and I had to catch myself. It feels like we're getting cheated at this stage by not having full strength Chris Paul out on the court, by having an Andre Iguodala that's less than stellar. But then I remembered, God, playing football especially, that's sports. You're never all healthy. If by the grace of God you have made it through a season where all of your star performance, everyone top to bottom is healthy, you are probably going to win whatever championship your sport has, because that's a next to impossible feat with how violent, with how physically demanding all of these sports are over the course of such a long season at such a high level. So it's unfortunate, but it's a reminder that this is the most true version of sports that exists, which is it is largely imperfect. And in very few instances are we going to get true healthy strength on true healthy strength.
You're listening to Golic and Wingo. We're presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. Surprise a friend or loved one or anyone really today with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. When you order a dozen multicolored roses for only $29.99, you get another dozen absolutely for free. Just go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. I'm Jason Fitz for Trey Jr. and for Mike. And I understand what you're saying, that obviously you never get healthy on healthy. But when you only have a couple of teams that can really compete with each other, that's the one thing you're hoping for, right, at some level. But all of this does feed so you're telling me there's a chance theory, because Wendy just said CP3 may not even be ready to go at the beginning of the finals. LeBron's going to be sitting there ready to cherry pick against the Rockets team should they win tonight somehow by miracle. Should they win, LeBron's sitting there and he's like, I'm going to give me a ring.
Listen, I understand. It was just, you weren't 10 seconds into this show before you already start just popping off at the mouth with that. That was my only aversion. You're right. That is the lesser of the two paths for them, especially considering how banged up they are, because when they're banged up, what did Wendy and really I just said before, Brian, I would like credit for some of this take, but PJ Tucker and Trevor Ariza and the rest of these guys.
You did actually throw those names out there.
Out there doing some basketball. Yeah, but you get these guys that would have to step up, and we say that for them. The slight against the Golden State Warriors is that Andre Iguodala might be hurt, which maybe hurts them defensively against LeBron James some. But when you can throw Draymond Green and Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and all the rest of these guys as defensive options against him, and they go down on the other end and they're all capable of overtaking a game, this is a Warriors team that, for all of their flaws, and this is the true nightmare for the NBA, that in a season where Golden State has been as apathetic as possible, openly admitted they didn't really try that much during the regular season, and during this postseason of wax and wane in interest, that they could still be the ones more than likely hoisting this trophy at the end of the season if no one's careful.
Yeah, there's this alarming realization that the Warriors' second, third, and fourth best players are all better than whoever the Cavs want their second best player to be on any given night. That's a stellar amount. Like, their second, third, and fourth players are all that much better.
I don't know, man. 20-point Jeff Green is out here in these streets, and he would like a word with you.
Oh, well, he can have a word with me all day. He doesn't want a word with Draymond. No. That's all I'm saying. That's where he calls it quits. He's like, I'm absolutely out. We'll continue to break down all things NBA over the course of the morning. But coming up next, Le'Veon Bell expressed his unhappiness with his contract in a very artistic form. Will the Steelers ownership respond in kind? We'll answer that next. But first,
we got a word from Scott. Summer has unofficially begun. I'm going to say it's officially begun. Memorial Day weekend is the official start of summer. Yeah, I don't need a solstice to tell me when the season starts. It starts today. And it really comes with all the fun, family, and barbecues. Be sure your lawn is ready with Scott's Turf Builder and Weed Feed. If dandelions and clovers are popping up all over your yard, then you need Scott's Weed and Feed to green your grass and kill those unwanted invaders. It's 2 times more powerful than before with no quibble money back guarantee. And Scott's is the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. So make your lawn your pride and joy, just like the pros. Get an MLB quality lawn. Spring is here. Pick up a bag of Scott's Weed and Feed today. This is a Scott's Yard. Back after this, it's Golick and Wingo.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Be careful how you phrase that or the internet's going to ruin you.
Well, again, I grew up a fat kid that played the violin. There's nothing the internet can say to me that 6th grade girls didn't. So...
Every car deserves Pennzoil Synthetics in their engine, providing unsurpassed wear protection during everyday commutes. If a high-performance car like this trusts Pennzoil Synthetics for complete engine protection, your vehicle shouldn't settle for anything less. Make the switch at your local Firestone or Tires Plus location. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30.
Introducing the Wrangler Performance Series. A collection of jeans and pants featuring the new Comfort Flex waistband and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. It's the flexibility you need to get more out of every day and tap into your unrealized potential. See where more range of motion takes you. Wrangler Performance Series. Less restriction, more living.
Right now, 1 in 3 drivers is cruising around in a state of skepticism about just how much value their car insurance company is delivering. If you're one of them, State Farm agent John Kaywood in Champaign can help you get to a better state because he will talk with you, listen to you, and help put together a policy that has you written all over it. From cost to coverage, all backed by 24/7 customer support. Feeling less skeptical? Then call State Farm agent John Kaywood in Champaign 367-1105 and officially get to a better state with State Farm.
Hey, next time you pay for parking, forget the spare change and use Mobile Meter instead. It's available all over Champaign-Urbana, and it's the easiest way to pay for parking. Download the Mobile Meter app, store your credit card information, then select how long you want to park. That easy. Download the Mobile Meter app or go to mobilemeter.us.
Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, is inviting you to shop new arrivals of Liddyville apparel and Nike apparel. Visit GameDaySpirit.com and find new Nike t-shirts, polos, and tank tops, as well as Liddyville hats to beat the summer heat while looking great. Have time to stop in their stores? Game Day is located on campus at the corner of 6th and Green Street with parking available at the parking deck on Healy, as well as in Champaign on the corner of Neal and Kirby, conveniently located near the State Farm Center and Memorial Stadium. Get excited for all things Illini this summer and follow Game Day Spirit on Facebook and Twitter. Go Illini!
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. At Provident, our mission is to help people plan for and get through some of life's toughest challenges. We provide each of our clients with individualized strategies, premier service, and independent thinking to help them achieve their financial goals. Contact us today at 3017 Village Office Place in Champaign or call 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You're listening to WXJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Now through May 31st, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained, or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned, or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Eastern Conference Finals went the distance. So did LeBron James. 48 minutes, 35 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, adding to LeBron James's legend. And for the fourth consecutive year, the Cleveland Cavaliers have won the Eastern Conference. They head to the NBA Finals. And for LeBron James, it is 8 straight NBA Finals.
ESPN Radio on the call. Sports Center, the Cavaliers headed to their fourth straight NBA Finals. They beat the Celtics 87-79 on the road in Game 7. LeBron plays in his 8th straight Finals now. He had 35 points, 15 boards, 9 assists. Would have been way more if the Cavs could have made any shots in the first half. The Cavs come back from an early 12-point deficit and hand the Celtics their first home loss of the playoffs. In racing, the coolest name ever, Will Power became the first Australian driver to win the Indy 500. Power is the 5th first-time winner in the last 6 Indy 500s. And in baseball, the Indians beat the Astros 10-9 on a walk-off homer by Greg Allen in the 14th inning. Allen's first homer of the season, second homer of his career. Cleveland scored 5 runs in the 9th inning to send it to extras. Crazy game.
SportsCenter is brought to you by DXL. Hey, guys, if you're built like a power forward, a linebacker, or have a sexy new tight end body like me, but you're still a little wide in the shoulders and finding clothes that fit, well, now it's easier than ever with DXL. DXL was built just for XL guys with over 100 brands and an unrivaled fit starting at size XL. So get ready, get to your nearby DXL store, and visit DestinationXL.com. Built to fit, built XL, DXL.
So they put me on the tag, guy. Definitely not gonna trip, I got that bag, guy. Wonder why they treat me like the bad guy.
It's Go Look at Wingo, presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Jason Fitz in for Trey. Junior's in for Mike. And, you know, a lot of times the music that brings us back, I have to let it live, let it breathe. I don't want to interrupt it. Man, I want to talk over this as quickly as possible because the lyrics are almost as bad as the track. You are listening to Le'Veon Bell's new hit single here as he comes in and throws a little shade back at the Steelers. And sometimes you see this where like it's a line. It's like a little segment of a rap. No. This whole thing is about I didn't get paid. I can't afford what I want because I haven't gotten paid yet. I never failed any drug tests. Don't come at me. And everybody wants to make me the bad guy. Way to win the world back, Le'Veon. Like, man, everybody hates me, so I'm going to make a rap track that trashes them.
Well, this is what we're used to. So Le'Veon Bell is one of many guys in the NFL who also tries to do a little rapping on the side, and we've seen Lonzo Ball do this pretty notably in the NBA. Every locker room's got a couple of guys in it that have budding rap careers that either have legitimate legs or in some cases less legitimate, and you are a former musician on the set, feel compelled to criticize in this certain instance. But I look at this idea, so this is Le'Veon Bell's single Target that's available everywhere. Where music is bought, sold, or downloaded for free. And
people will buy this? You think people will buy this?
Oh, yeah, I think definitely. I think people will buy. I'd be interested how this goes over in Pittsburgh right now, because a lot of this sentiment is born from the fact that he thinks that he is public enemy number one in Pittsburgh. You see the Lions say, you can see I'm doing shows, so you think I'm out of shape. All these people want to trade, and I'm the one they want to hate. So to me, I'm a target. I think you just need a break. You know what I want to say. Some people just can't relate. Just look at my point of view. I don't have time to waste. Really, it's lamenting the position of the running back and where he's at in the NFL, just in a way that, sounds like it was made with a beat from one of those website creating things from back in the day.
Yeah, it feels
the
like
little musical jingle that you get in the background. This seems fresh out of that.
And then like the guy that did it feels like he's really good at it. Now, Le'Veon Bell, good at football. There's your breaking news there. 17 career games with at least 150 yards from scrimmage. That's the same that Marcus Allen had in his entire 222-game Hall of Fame career. So, Le'Veon Bell, good at football, not good at rap, man. Like this NFL contract needs to last you a long time, because if like you're that guy at this point that's putting together the track and we're all listening to it and it's not good. Somebody's got to be honest with you.
It's one of those things that it's a funny footnote in an off season where none of this conversation really matters. Le'Veon Bell's not going to miss real game time this season. It's going to come down to would he play under that tag or not, and would the Steelers at some point feel compelled before that hard date when they can negotiate long-term deals to actually give this guy the money that you look at and you read these stats, 12 games with at least 180 yards from scrimmage, already ninth most since the NFL-AFL merger in 1970. He's a 26-year-old running back in his prime who fits all of the molds of modern football today, but he's also a guy that, especially in Pittsburgh, especially in that blue-collar city, with all of this noise, doesn't always vibe well with that storied organization. But you got to recognize where you are as a team, man, and you got a quarterback that's starting to get up there, so much so that you drafted his replacement and made him a little angry. You've got this and Antonio Brown to buoy you through that. I wouldn't screw up the one that has been this level of consistent for you.
You're listening to Go Look at Wingo. Jason Fitz in for Trey, Junior in for Mike. Don't forget, guys, 30 for 30 podcasts have returned. You can subscribe to 30 for 30 podcasts right now in the Listen tab of the ESPN app or on Apple Podcasts. Brought to you by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Try it for free, going to ZipRecruiter.com/30. So, Le'Veon, reminds me a little like this is sort of, I'm going to be kind of personal here. You asked the question earlier, worst guy at the cookout. And we've been compiling a list. The worst guy at the cookout is absolutely the guy that's like dating your cousin, and he shows up and you're at the cookout for a while, and your cousin told him you're in the business, and so he's there for a while and he has some beers and he's just making small talk with you, and then all of a sudden midway through he's like, hey man, you like, I got a mixtape, would you mind listening to it sometime? So then politely you're like, yeah, and then he pulls out like a CD because he wants to have that moment right there in the middle of the cookout. You'd be stunned how often this happens.
I can imagine that happened a fair amount. Like, well, I mean, you know what? Look, that's a hustler. The guy's out there trying to make it happen for himself. He understands you got to shoot your shot. He doesn't know. Shoot or shoot,
Didn't
man.
help the Celtics last night. They kept shooting the shot. Did not work.
I mean, listen, shoot or shoot is a mantra. It's not an ironclad set of beliefs. But it does open up that larger conversation because you mentioned worst guy at the cookout. Like, mixtape guy is certainly one of them. So nowadays it would be someone peddling their SoundCloud page, which seems like an appropriate home for that Le'Veon Bell track.
Or they'll have it on their phone and be like, can we just connect to the Bluetooth speakers? We could all listen to it right now.
But then he can't connect to the Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it then, that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to listen to it in the middle of the party, and then you're going to have like this awkward moment in the middle of the party where like, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to negotiate, but it does open us up to the larger conversation about worst people at the cookout.
Who you got?
We've been compiling a list this morning so far on the show staff. It's Memorial Day weekend. You've got a lot of play, and we've talked about side dishes, which are an important part of the barbecue cookout scenario. But then there's also who you're bringing to the table, literally, the people involved. And so mixtape guy is certainly up there. The ultimate man the grill guy, that uncle that insists on being the one to cook and process all of the meats that are involved with this day and age. Takes it way too seriously. The old Eddie Murphy sketch, that's a fire. Comes to mind immediately.
I don't mind him as much as I mind backseat grill driver. The guy that's standing over your shoulder that's like, those coals aren't hot enough. Or that you cook on gas. Charcoal tastes so much like that guy.
You season this meat before you cook it, Dale? Good Lord. Drier than the Sahara out here.
All right, it's too early.
So, okay, that's certainly up there. You've got the way too drunk relative, someone clearly overserved, starting to get into a lot of the family drama way too early in the cookout, introducing the kids to their first real bout of, this is what a drunk person looks like.
Yeah, and then it's always, well, I didn't eat very much, so...
The excuse train starts rolling into the station the day after when all of a sudden you've got to send Aunt Claire home a little bit early in an Uber now. Drink responsibly. All right, so we've got that. We've got the couple that was clearly fighting on their way over to the barbecue, like that palpable tension that's in the air anytime you try and have a conversation with them.
Cliff, you got to put this up on the Twitter feed. I think this is amazing. The arguing couple because the funny thing is, what they do is they don't talk to each other. It's like Belichick and Brady at this point.
Yeah.
They don't talk to each other, but then the minute somebody walks by, they're like all smiles and like, hey. And then when they walk back away, you can just feel that tension going back.
The best part is they split up and the guy usually goes and immediately grabs a drink and somebody goes, hey, Bill, how you doing? He goes, not good, Bob.
Not good. That is true. That's where the honesty seeps out, because she's going to keep it together because she's probably got the upper hand in this because we're all dumb guys and we're losing whatever argument we're in.
Apparently I'm selfish.
Apparently it's inconsiderate to delete our wedding video to tape Game 7 in the finals. I wanted to watch it in the morning. I work hard for this family.
Wow, that got staggeringly
personal. That got really personal for everyone in here. That's nice. An airing of grievances of sort. But we've got a few more of these. The uninvited neighbor. You mentioned the backseat grill driver or the food and drink critic, the guy that's come there and clearly has honed his palate for his Instagram page that you can check out. Have him come and rate your restaurant. And some real heavy hitters on this one. The recent divorcee, someone who's really coming into this and ready to unload their problems, could also be overly drunk relative and way too political distant relative. Might be the worst one.
I don't know. The passive-aggressive vegetarian that's at a cookout knowing there's going to be meat and then telling you how judgy that is the entire time. Or the person that's vegan and waits like 4 minutes to tell you that they're vegan and then continually be like, well, I'm vegan, so I'm vegan, though. That person.
There's no problem with being vegan.
No.
I adopt certain tenets of that all the time if I'm trying to shed a few pounds.
Absolutely.
But you don't ever want to really make it that overt. Don't treat veganism like CrossFit.
That's the best statement Michael Jr. has ever met.
Speaking of CrossFit, by the way, the other worst guy, long game Olympian.
Oh, okay.
That guy that takes Can Jam just a little too seriously.
Get off the field, Bobby. Who's next?
Run it back. Winter stays, right? Long day out here. Someone grab me a fresh one. Been too busy.
You guys tweet us your worst guy at the barbecue or cookout at Golick and Wingo. We'll continue to break those down along with side dishes. But coming up, it looks like Chris Paul will likely be out tonight, according to what Brian Windhorst just told us. Does that mean the Rockets have no chance? That's next. But first,
a word from Trex. Should probably get the sponsor's name right. Trex. It's great stuff. If you want more from your life outdoors, when it comes to outdoor living, nothing outperforms Trex, the world's #1 decking brand. I'm going to get it right before this is all said and done. Reading is hard. But you know what's not hard? Trex. Only Trex composite decking is engineered to eliminate time-consuming maintenance while providing superior scratch, fade, and stain resistance. And with the products that range from decking and railing to furniture and lighting, only Trex is engineering what's next in all aspects of outdoor living. So when it comes time to build your next deck, make sure it's Trex. For design ideas and to order samples, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com. Back after this with better reading. It's Golick and Wingo.
For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hi, I'm Habib, and this is your Motivational Minute. Procrastination is often a hindrance to our success. We may believe that procrastination affects only our today, but in fact, a year from now, we may wish we had started today. Think of it this way. If you delay planting flowers, you're delaying the blooms. Can you imagine if a farmer this spring, day after day, did not get out of bed to plant? If he does that, he will lose his harvest in the fall. You see, someday is not a day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are days of the week. Someday is not a day of the week. So let's stop saying, someday I will start doing such and such. Make that someday today. And here's a way to sharpen your skills. 2 excellent leadership events are scheduled. The Global Leadership Summit in August and John Maxwell's Live to Lead in November. I'm offering you the chance to attend both for the price of one. An excellent opportunity for personal growth. Go to HabibHabib.com to buy tickets. And remember, someday is not a day of the week. I'm Habib, and this was your Motivational Minute.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Peter Burns.
And I'm looking forward to the NFL finally coming to their senses and saying, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We make $1 bajillion a year. The best money that we can spend is go out there and get Adam Silver after the NBA finals are done, okay, and just say, here's a blank check. What do you want? How much money can we pay you to figure out how the hell to run our league? The NFL can't get out of its own way. I mean, out of all years that the NFL has really good product, we just saw one of the most exciting NFL drafts we have seen in probably a decade. The strength of the league is going to be the product on the field and the players. They have star power right now. So guess what? All you do if you're Roger Goodell, and this is what Adam Silver probably should go ahead and tell him and write him that check, just do away with the anthem. I believe the anthem should be played, but if you can't figure it out like grown-ups, you don't deserve to have it. And guess what? The product ain't going to change.
That's the sizzle of McDonald's new hotter and juicier 100% fresh beef quarter pounder burger. Sounds good, right? Hold up, you can't hear that mouth-watering sound or taste that beefy, melty, cheesy deliciousness until you order yours, because that's when they cook it. So if you want to hear this, followed by this, hit this, and turn into McDonald's now. McDonald's new hotter and juicier quarter pounder burgers. So good, they'll leave you speechless. Hotter and juicier compared to prior quarter pound beef patty. Available at most restaurants in contiguous U.S. Not available in Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories.
When a player doesn't like a contract, what do?
They hold out?
They hold out for a better deal. If only you could do that with your wireless plan, right? Well, with the Bring Your Own Phone plan from Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a much better deal. Keep your phone, your number, even your same network for a lot less than you're paying now.
Without the contract.
Or the holdout.
Get the Ultimate Unlimited plan for just $55 a month on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Video typically streams at DVD quality. Refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Toronto Fun Day is coming. The last few days of June. Try to win a tricked-out golf cart from Battery Specialist Plus Golf Cars as you buy a ticket at Monocle's in Tolono. One for $20 or three for $50. There's a parade of golf cars on the 5K route after the Tolono Twilight Trek wraps up, with help from DC and Tolono. Then the free family movie. What a start to the Tolono Fun Day weekend. Friday, June 29th and Saturday, June 30th. A special thanks to Boulder Designs. For details, search Tolono Fun Day on Facebook.
Get it, CC. Hey, it's Stephanie Pratt, co-banker of the Real Estate Group. Your realtor that rocks the real estate market. I'm rocking both real estate and an awesome concert series with my man Brett Michaels and Poison on June 9th at Hollywood Amphitheater.
But for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless only at Walmart. The first terms and conditions of service.
So listen to Tay and Carp in the afternoon to find out how to qualify. We'll be rocking a limo with my cool friends from Larry's Limousine Service online at larry'slimousine.service.com. Don't miss your chance to see Poison with me, your realtor that rocks. We've already been to see Warrant. Now we're heading to see Poison with Cheap Trick and Pop Evil. After Poison, next up is Winding It Down with White Snake in July.
Mark Kessel's going to join us in just a few minutes. I do want to go back to
Rockin' Concert Series with ESPN and myself, Stephanie Pratt, your realtor that rocks. Learn more at ESPNCU.com or check out my website, StephaniePrattHomes.com.
Mixed in with the fact that it's an intense day. But before we get to the
this
food,
year, Aaron's Memorial Day holiday weekend event is going to be more memorable than ever. Because just $5 gets you started leasing to own furniture, electronics, and appliances. And as always, there's no credit needed and free delivery and setup. Participating Aaron stores are open on Memorial Day. Don't miss it. Just $5 gets you started when you shop in-store or online from May 25th through the 28th during Aaron's Memorial Day holiday weekend event.
Hamstring injury, but yeah, Brian Windhorst said he would be shocked if it was anything other than a
Hello, this is Shane Coulter of Country Arbors Nursery. There's no better place to buy all your trees, flowers, mulch, and rock than Country Arbors Nursery. 30,000 perennials and hundreds of thousands of annuals right here in Urbana. And we don't order in our trucks. Our perennials and annuals are grown within feet of where you're buying them. Millions of plants, bulk rock, and mulches. And delivery and/or planning on everything we sell. And if you'd like to leave everything to the pros, Country Arbors has a full landscaping service as well. There's a reason why we've become Champaign-Urbana's favorite garden and landscaping center. So come out to Country Arbors Nursery in Urbana or go to countryarbors.com for more information and directions.
So he's saying for tonight, absolutely stunned. And that's a statement, because I think when most of us hear game time decision and we automatically assign, this is dangerous. We automatically assign game time decision, game 7 in our mind means that guy's going to play. And I heard a lot of people talking about Kevin Love with that in a flat out careless, reckless way of, well, you get out there. I mean, if the guy is concussed, it's not that easy. You can't just get out there.
They have that concussion protocol for a reason, to take it out of the hands of guys that would otherwise want to be on the court and want to try and play through all this. There's a reason it's set up the way that it is. So to come out and be that cavalier with it really detracts from the progress that we're trying to make in that area, specifically around head injuries, which is its own separate category. It's a place that we understand and are getting more information on the severity of these things. And so we've got to address it the right ways, or else we continue a line of thinking that manifests itself in these athletes. I mean, I saw our very own Booger McFarland kind of references saying Kevin Love wouldn't be able to come around me in that locker room if I was a Cavaliers player. And I can understand where that comes from with Booger, because especially during the time he played, that was much more the line of thinking. We weren't as concerned with these kind of things. But now that we've turned the page, we've got to be a part of creating athletes that are more aware of that if we do purport to care as much about these things as we say we do.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. I walked away from Kevin Love saying, man, there's still so much education to be done to people to have them understand it's not as simple as take 2 Tylenol and go play a basketball game. In the same sense, we hear game time decision for Chris Paul. We hear evaluated at game time. We automatically think, well, they'll just
shoot him up.
They'll shoot him up with something. He'll get out there and play. For Windy to be so confident, for ESPN and NBA insider Brian Windhorst to be so confident in his statement that he would be shocked for CP3 to play tonight, to me that says he's out. And if he's out, I don't see a way that Houston can win this game.
No, not based on the way the last couple of games have gone, not based on the way the third quarter Warriors continue to show up. And it should tell you the severity of the injury for Brian Windhorst to say that, because the usual MO is, especially for a guy, I mean, think of Chris Paul. Every reason in the world Chris Paul wants to be out on the court right now. He is on a stage that has eluded him his entire career. He has a chance to even transcend that with 1 game win. He's already had such meaningful impacts late in games for this Houston Rockets team in the playoffs. For him to not be able to play at all in this game should tell you this is a very severe injury, that there are none of the normal bells and whistles and things that you could do, things that you could take or shoot in or whatever you want to do for this injury that would get you there. That's what this should all scream. Not that he's unwilling, not that he's less than.
You're listening to Golick and Wingo. Jason Fitz in for Trey, Jr. in for Mike. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Got another worst guy at the cookout, the guy who doesn't bring any food but makes a plate to feed the whole family. It's an interesting one. I go back and forth on that one, because sometimes when I'm hosting, I feel like it's sort of my obligation to feed everybody and whatever else happens.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but you want to come bearing some sort of gift, especially if you're going to be, as Michael George tweets in, Tupperware guy. If you're going to be that guy going home with that little bit of extra, which as a young single guy, people always look at you. They're like, oh, you want extra food? You need this. You can't possibly fend for yourself, which I'm more than willing to take because all those things are true, but it still benefits you to bring a gift on the front end so that that's received with a little more kindness on the back end.
Is it too much to bring multiple Tupperwares then? Because I'm not going to, my food has to stay somewhat compartmentalized. Like, if there's desserts, they can't go near the savories, so I'm going to have different Tupperware, right?
Let me tell you what, if you're actually going to bring Tupperware and not just receive it however they give it to you at the end, you better really come correct with what you're bringing to the table, because this is one of those situations where the love you take has to be equal to the love you make.
I like Mark saying the family of 8 that brings a 2-liter of Fresca and 6 hot dog buns. Wow, very specific. Coming up, with it looking like Chris Paul will likely be out tonight, are we destined for Warriors Cavs 4? We'll answer that next. You're listening to Golick and Wingo.
If
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Do you remember modems, VCRs, wooden tennis rackets? Of course you do. But you never think about them because they are so extremely outdated. What about sports drinks? Let's say goodbye to that old artificial neon standby. There's a new sports drink called Body Armor. With natural flavors and sweeteners, more electrolytes and more vitamins, Body Armor is the more natural, better sports drink. Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here.
In my yard, I'm a grill master.
But weeds have invaded this backyard barbecue kingdom. With Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, you can thicken your lawn and kill over 50 pesky weeds guaranteed. Because Scott's Weed Grip technology is twice as effective on dandelions and clover as it used to be. So you can defeat invaders and green up your grass.
It's my secret recipe for a great-looking lawn.
This is a Scott's Yard. Pick up a bag of Scott's Weed and Feed today.
Get your feet off to a fresh start with new Odor Eaters Charcoal Foot Scrub.
Look, it helps stop foot odor before it starts with super activated charcoal and exfoliants. Odor Eater Scrub also removes oils and other stuff that create a feeding ground for odor-causing bacteria.
Adding Charcoal Foot Scrub to your daily routine is going to help keep your feet fresher longer.
Pick some up at Walmart, CVS, Kroger, or Dollar General. And don't forget Odor Eaters foot sprays, powder, and insoles.
Start fresh. Stay fresher with Odor Eaters.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
A pipe burst and the basement begins to fail, putting the picture albums and the family heirlooms in danger. You can't plan on it, but you can plan for it by making sure you're ready for whatever happens with Serve Pro of Champaign-Urbana at 355-0077. With their mobile site at serveprochampaignurbana.com bookmarked, the 355-0077 programmed into your phone. When the things that matter most are on the line, you'll know that they are too. Make sure you're ready by planning with the trusted professionals of Serve Pro of Champaign-Urbana, like it never even happened.
Yes, and tune in.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald has announced that we are the biggest and best radio show in America on Tuesdays.
You're welcome. The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The 2018 U.S. Open Tennis Championships, built on passion and pride. Determination and drive. Built on underdogs and upsets. Challengers and champions. Built for glory. Celebrating 50 years of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships, August 27th through September 9th. Catch more action with a multi-session ticket plan. Go to usopen.org to select a plan that's right for you.
It's a Memorial Day doubleheader on ESPN Radio. The Astros and Yankees, followed by the Giants and Rockies. Coverage begins today at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Exxon and Mobil. An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Peter Burns.
And I'm looking forward to the NFL finally coming to their senses and saying, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We make $1 bajillion a year. The best money that we can spend is go out there and get Adam Silver after the NBA finals are done, okay, and just say, here's a blank check. What do you want? How much money can we pay you to figure out how the hell to run our league? The NFL can't get out of its own way. I mean, out of all years that the NFL has really good product, we just saw one of the most exciting NFL drafts we have seen in probably a decade. The strength of the league is going to be the product on the field and the players. They have star power right now. So guess what? All you do if you're Roger Goodell, and this is what Adam Silver probably should go ahead and tell him and write him that check, just do away with the anthem. I believe the anthem should be played, but if you can't figure it out like grown-ups, you don't deserve to have it. And guess what? The product ain't going to change.
That's the sizzle of McDonald's new, hotter and juicier 100% fresh beef Quarter Pounder burger. Sounds good, right? Hold up, you can't hear that mouth-watering sound or taste that beefy, melty, cheesy deliciousness until you order yours, because that's when they cook it. So if you want to hear this, followed by this, hit this, and turn into McDonald's now. McDonald's new, hotter and juicier Quarter Pounder burgers. So good, they'll leave you speechless. Hotter and juicier compared to prior Quarter Pound beef patty. Available at most restaurants in contiguous U.S. Not available in Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories.
When a player doesn't like a contract, what do?
They hold out?
They hold out for a better deal. If only you could do that with your wireless plan, right? Well, with the Bring Your Own Phone plan from Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a much better deal. Keep your phone, your number, even your same network for a lot less than you're paying now.
Without the contract.
Or the holdout.
Get the Ultimate Unlimited plan for just $55 a month on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Video typically streams at DVD quality. Refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. Shoot. LeBron starts to drive left of the lane to the rim. Running right-hand Baker is good for LeBron James.
He's gone past that 8 straight times. With the pressure, with the scrutiny, doesn't matter. He still scored 35. It's Joe.
He'll never have a greater achievement than getting this team to the finals.
When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're essentially a lottery team without LeBron James.
And going into a Game 7, you want the best player in the world on your side.
The greatest player of this generation. I don't think it can be denied.
I'm ready. Half of the NBA Finals matchup is set. You just heard it. LeBron gets the Game 7 win. The Celtics go down at home for the first time in the playoffs. The question is, who are they going to play? We'll find that out tonight in the rare, as I'm stealing from Mike Golick Jr., in the rare Game 7 sandwich. 2 consecutive games, 2 consecutive nights of Game 7s. For the first time since 1979, both conference finals in the NBA have gone 7 games, and we are the benefiter of all of it.
Yeah, we get to eat a nice sandwich.
And we get to grill out all day and then get Game 7 tonight. It's really a perfect situation.
That's the meat amidst the sandwich. You've got a holiday as the meat between 2 buns of Game 7s and conference finals. And the start of the NHL Stanley Cup final, singular, tonight, which I know you believe is horrifically misplaced, but nonetheless,
it's going to be fantastic and entertaining. I will be watching it on one laptop while watching while watching the NBA on the other. It's Golick and Wingo. I'm Jason Fitz in for Trey. Junior's in for Mike. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If you miss anybody, you can listen to all 4 hours on demand in the ESPN app. If you're just tuning in, Brian Windhorst dropped some knowledge on us last hour you don't want to miss. And the coolest name in all of sports, Willpower, fresh off of an Indy 500 win, came on with us earlier in the show too. So you can get to all of that out on the podcast version. But before we go any further, we need to get you caught up on what's trending. With LeBron James icing down in the locker room after playing all 48 minutes to assure a 4th straight trip to the NBA Finals for the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday.
Yeah, this is interesting, too. So Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert reflected on the win in an adjacent room and said he is not allowing James's potential free agency this summer to swallow up that moment. I'm sure for you, it is the only thing consuming him at this moment because they are playing with a lot of house money at this point with LeBron James. And so we're all going to sit here and measure and hem and haw about how this outcome potentially affects his future in Cleveland. But as we look towards offseason prospects for some of these teams as the year winds down, this is the biggest one hanging in the balance. The biggest boom or bust movement this offseason will be what happens with LeBron and this team because without him, they careen off the cliff into the lottery picks.
Well, I think that's the interesting part of it is that this isn't just a matter of, well, with no LeBron, they'll figure something out. No, they won't. They'll absolutely spiral into irrelevance, and that's the future of the Cavs.
Yeah, this isn't a trade where you're getting equal value in return. This is tried and true free agency where you get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir.
Now, that being said, I do believe LeBron's not even thinking about it. He shouldn't be thinking about it. He has a whole team that's thinking about that. So, in any contract-driven employment, whether it's entertainment, sports, music, or athletes, for any of it, at some point, you've got a team that works on your deals. And so LeBron's team's, I'm sure, figuring everything out. LeBron's just sitting back worried about basketball, and he'll go do what he wants to do next.
Nice stock line. My agent will handle all that stuff. I'm focused on basketball right now. You'll hear it 1,000 times, but with LeBron, we believe it. This guy is myopic in his approach to the game. He is obsessive, and it shows on the court because he's just better than everyone else is better.
Well, and there's nothing Dan Gilbert can do at this point to change whatever the fate of the Cavs are, right? I mean, the Cavs are going to be the Cavs, and whatever the decision is going to be from LeBron will be made from the body of work from Dan Gilbert over the course of the last year, not over, buying him a nice steak dinner right now.
Whatever happens with LeBron, if it's good for the Cavaliers, will be in spite of Dan Gilbert, because make no mistake about it, we've seen LeBron's snapshot memory. It remembers a particular letter from many moons ago, and it ain't going to forget anytime soon.
Oh, that is such a good point. From one Game 7 to another, the Houston Rockets return home today for Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, which you can listen to at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. I just thought I'd read some drama.
Yeah, no, that was nice. You leaned into that, and it'll be all in. We heard from Brian Windhorst, our ESPN NBA insider, before, that he would be shocked if Chris Paul plays tonight with that injured hamstring, and so we talk about the other Cavaliers all the time. The other Rockets, can Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker and Trevor Ariza be the guys that they were for this team earlier in the series?
And in just a few minutes, we'll get to Mark Kestershire, who'll be on the call. We'll get his thoughts on all of that. Before we do it, get you caught up a little bit on some baseball. Sunday was supposed to be the day two of Japan's best pitching talent squared off at Yankee Stadium, but thanks to the Los Angeles Angels' desire to better negotiate the air quotes workload management of their multi-position rookie superstar Shohei Ohtani, that did not happen.
No, did not happen. Went 0 for 2 in a Yankees 3-1 win, struck out twice against Masahiro Tanaka, and...
Hold, please.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to Shohei the way.
Yeah, how dare you try and bury our favorite song?
Everybody was reacting like I just said a foul word on air or something. So I was like, what did I screw up? And then they're like, the drop.
Golic Wingo hangs its hat on a few things right now. One of them is an undying love for the Shohei Ohtani song. Although last night it was not very song-worthy from Shohei. Mentioned 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts in that 3-1 loss to the Yankees, and they got history. They got a little bit of history here. Masahiro Tanaka and Shohei Ohtani both played in Japan as professionals in 2013, and in that season, Shohei Ohtani 0 for 11, 6 strikeouts and a walk against Tanaka, so he's got his number.
I just want to commend you on your pronunciation of all of that. There's a reason they didn't let me even try. They just gave that to you because I wouldn't stand a chance.
We work in words, Fitz. It's what we do, and mostly because I can't do numbers.
Well, that's fair. That gets you caught up on what's trending. Obviously, the talk of the day has been sort of split 3 ways between Memorial Day cookout, dilemmas, but also more importantly between the Game 7 sandwich. Last night we get the Eastern Conference, and they give us sort of a moment for LeBron that will only add to whatever the legacy is. So now we need to figure out what tonight will mean and whose legacy will be cemented. To do that, we go to the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, where ESPN Radio play-by-play man Mark Kestershire joins us. Kesty, thanks for some time early this morning. Appreciate you, my friend. And I'm curious, Wendy seemed pretty positive CP3's not going to play. If Chris Paul doesn't play tonight, can the Rockets win?
I don't think so, and I don't think he's going to be able to play, but I know they've been working on him ever since he went down here in Game 5. From what I had heard in the travel day yesterday from San Francisco back here to Houston was, yes, treatment is ongoing, perhaps it's feeling better, but I think the big story is that obviously he hadn't tested it out yet. And you guys know, I'm sure both of you have had pulls of the hamstring. We all have, right? Playing softball, whatever we do at our older age. Maybe, Mike, when you were younger, that's a tough one to come back from. That might be a 2 or 3 week injury during the regular season. And as good as you feel after laying off it for 3 days, that first time you get out there and cut and pop or try to explode, and you could feel it. You can feel it. I would be stunned. Indeed, I guess I'm using the same word Wendy used, if he's out there tonight for that Willis Reed moment, and that's not good news for the Rockets and hasn't been since he went down.
No, I'm with you. We only have to look as far back as Jaylen Brown earlier in this playoff run. I remember the first dunk he went up for coming back from that hamstring injury, and you could see him thinking about it. So it's ever present, and it's got to be on the minds of these Rocket players. I'm interested, Kesty, as you've been around and getting ready to call this game. We hear the line out of Houston has been consistent. The pressure's on Golden State. As you've been poking around this team, are they actually believing that leading up to an important Game 7 for this franchise?
You're talking about Houston or for Golden State believing the pressure? Houston, look, they're trying to find every angle, and what we saw in the first quarter in Game 6, they're capable of. I don't know if they're capable of it over a 4-quarter stretch, and I thought Hubie Brown, my partner who's seen like a million years of basketball, had it right from the start. As he's watching the game progress, there is so much pressure on James Harden, and he didn't shrink away from it. He had 32 points. I know he had missed a zillion three-pointers, and then he hit 2 big ones and got them going in the first quarter. But he's the only playmaker out there. Eric Gordon is a great player. I enjoy watching him play. Excellent sixth man. He could start anywhere in the league, but he's not the secondary playmaker that Chris Paul has been, that has taken the load off of James Harden all season long. Harden's numbers as the playmaker, their top 5 plays, whether it's Harden pounding the basketball into the court in isolation or the various pick and rolls with Ariza or with Capella or with P.J. Tucker and even Gerald Green, he was the guy, and I think that fatigue showed itself in the second half when the minutes were piling up and the turnovers were piling up for Houston, 21 of them, and Golden State's going in the other direction. I mean, that was a flurry that was even unlike what we saw in Game 4 before the Warriors only scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. They terribly missed Chris Paul just in the playmaking end, and even if they put it together for 2 quarters, for them to be able to do what the Cavaliers did last night, keep it close, play that tough defense, and then somehow surge in the last 5 or 6 minutes, you're asking an awful lot. They're capable, yes, but they're going to have to get some help from Golden State on that end.
We're talking to ESPN Radio NBA play-by-play Mark Kestecher on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. I'm trying to figure out at this point sort of who Golden State is, because we've seen a couple of meltdowns from them, and then they didn't particularly start well in the last game. Is this team playing as focused and quality basketball as you expected at this point?
No, not at all. Look, the way they finished the year through whatever it was, resting up, the 4th year of this run together, it just wasn't crisp for all of season, especially in the last month of the season. And some of that, Curry goes out late in the year and then early into the postseason. But then they flip that switch, especially the defensive switch. Draymond Green turned it on the first day of the postseason, and they got it rolling. Curry came back, that first game back. They're looking like the Warriors of old. New Orleans wanted to run with them in the second round when Curry came back. That kind of lent itself to Golden State basketball, and it looked like they were right there. I credit the Houston Rockets for their approach defensively to get up in Golden State, feel them, as they like to say, force them into positions that weren't comfortable. Kevin Durant, might be the best currently one-on-one player in the league. You can debate that with LeBron James or whomever else, James Harden. His ability to shoot over you and shoot from anywhere on the floor. And I think Houston banked on the fact that, all right, we're going to let you do that. And, that's going to bog down your offense. And it did. Curry and Thompson and all the guys that move off the ball, that all disappeared. And then they got into a bad place for a couple of games. And then they got out of it somehow in the second half and really started in the second quarter of the last game. That was the first time we saw hints of, whoa, here comes Golden State's offense. Thompson's coming off down screens and curling around the edges. And I think a lot of that was Curry playmaking. And they found it again. They found a great balance. Can that translate from 6 to 7 and moving forward? We'll see. But at least for a moment there, for a half, a little more than a half, we saw the Golden State of old. Now we got to see it consistently.
Yeah, and I guess talking to Mark Kestecher on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, we've seen it come from different guys, but we've always seen it come at the same time. As you've been watching this unfold and been around this, what has been so consistently great about the Warriors in the third quarter, coming out of that halftime locker room that we've seen time and time again now?
That is remarkable because we've been given that. We've been updating that stat every time we come out of halftime, whether they're trailing a game, tied at a game, barely winning a game. I don't know what it is. We've asked Steve Kerr about that. He'd like to take credit for the halftime speech and laugh, as he tells us that. There's just something about that late arrival, if you will. I don't know if you could put your finger on it. Maybe, a lot of times it's the building. It feels like it happens at the Oracle more than any other place. But it is uncanny that they are able to, whether they catch you off guard, it shouldn't be. It's the first thing everybody thinks about, right? Now when you come back from halftime is, here comes the Golden State run. And whether it's a couple of early turnovers or in the case of Game 6, that was a broken play to start the third quarter. Ball ends up in the hands of Klay Thompson right in front of us, hits a three-pointer. They get a stop. Durant gets a dunk. They get a stop, and then it's Klay Thompson on the other side for a three-pointer. It's 8-0 in less than a minute, and it supercharges the crowd. It puts a little doubt in the opponent's head, and I don't know how they do it, but they consistently do it.
Kesty, I want to go back to what you've been talking about a little bit about Golden State here, because it's it smacks me in the face as much as we love the NBA and as well as the NBA is doing right now. What statement does it make for the league that the Cavs have been alarmingly inconsistent throughout the course of the year in effort? And it sounds like the Warriors are sort of unengaged at times or disengaged at times, and that could end up being our final. I mean, what statement does that make about the league?
Well, I don't know if it makes a definitive statement about the league. Maybe the length of how long, it all plays out from October to now. I don't know. That seems like a convenient excuse. I really think it's, the first time in this 4-year run. I don't want to call it a flaw in the Warriors, but it's a long time coming, and it's hard to keep this run of, I don't want to call it perfection, but it felt like it. Last year adding Kevin Durant, and I mostly did Warriors games last year as I have this year. I've been very West-centric in the last 2 years, and the domination with which they won their championship last year was to the other side, right? When people would ask me, what does it say about the league when Golden State is so good and nobody can compete? I think it's more on them. And I also think I haven't even mentioned the name Andre Iguodala in our conversation this morning, and he is so important to what they do. I must have asked Steve Kerr 8 different ways, in the last couple of months and maybe 100 different ways in the last couple of years what he means. And he always simplifies it to me by just saying, he does what we need to get done. He's the facilitator through which all this happens. Curry, is the greatest shooter of all time, and Klay Thompson is right there with him, and Draymond Green is maybe the important glue guy because he could do everything, and Kevin Durant puts you over the top. But the numbers don't show what Andre Iguodala does on the defensive end. When things get stuck and he takes over, whether it just be with a word or a glance or even physically with him on the floor, I think they really miss him, and that turned out to be a really big injury, especially the 2 games they had, the 2 close games they played here in Houston, and I'm not sure they're going to have him tonight either for Game 7.
Forget glue guy. Sounds like super glue. Talking to Mark Kestecher on the Shell.
Glue.
Gorilla Glue, exactly, on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Kesty, just for you personally, we've talked so much about these 2 Game 7s in the conference finals and the allure of that as sports fans. As someone who's getting ready to be on the call for this, how do you prepare for this big moment, knowing the eyes and ears of the world are going to be glued to what you guys are going on and just being a part of this moment?
It's funny. I hadn't thought about it till just now. Now I'm going to shrink at the moment.
You're welcome.
I hope not.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's like, hey, only a couple of million people are out there listening. Don't screw it up. What's interesting about this time of year? We jump around from team to team throughout the season, sometimes sport to sport, when it's crossing over from football to basketball and now basketball to baseball. And you're always just trying to keep up. You're always prepping. There's always another thing to keep your eye on. And at this time of year, it's kind of slows down in that you almost feel like a team broadcaster, and you're seeing them, you're getting the nuances, and it feels a little bit easier, but you have to keep your guard up, as in, something big could happen at any moment. And the best feeling in the world, at least, from the national perspective, is we're always placed with the best analysts in radio, whether it's PJ Carlissimo or John Barry, and then I get to work with Hubie Brown for the conference finals and the finals, and there's nothing that has ever happened in basketball that he hasn't already seen in some iteration. And, knowing he's got that covered, and really, I just have to document the moment. And it's, I guess, 25 or 30 years worth of experience finally coming to a head. And Just say what you see. Keep it simple. Make sure you're describing it so folks have a chance to understand it because things happen so fast. Get your analyst in and out, and hope you're speaking English when the right time comes.
You know, Cassie, it's going to be hard to live up to what we've already given you this morning, but I think, my friend, you can do it. Thanks for joining us. Mark Estes here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Have a great call tonight, my friend. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Have a great show, guys, and great long weekend to everybody else out there listening this morning.
You don't want to forget, guys, that the NBA Western Conference Finals are on ESPN Radio. Tune in tonight for Game 7. Harden and the Rockets host Durant and the Warriors. Presented by Indeed. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. Because of the time slot that I'm usually in with Spain and Fitz from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on ESPN Radio, I get to talk to Kesty a lot before games when we're shortened and they go into NBA coverage. And it's amazing how just clearly he sees it all. So when he comes in and says, I don't think the Rockets can win, that means something to me because, you know, he is a guy that looks at everything through such a balanced scale approach. I think there's some significance there. I want tonight to be epic. I don't know if it can be.
No, it is. And to his point, when you have this much time to focus on something, it's very much like sports. You get to this time of year and you know the book on LeBron James because he's got that storied history in this league. You know the minor details and the tendencies of every player you're going up against. James Harden's going to look out there from Golden State tonight, and there'll be some adjustments, but for the most part, he knows what he's going to get. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, these guys know what they're going to get out of this. And it's the same for Mark and the guys that are on the call. Like, you have all this time. I remember preparing for a national championship game. We had 40 days to prepare. You walked into that feeling as ready for that moment as ever. And, you know, then sometimes things don't always work out, so you've got to keep that in mind too. But you do have this unbelievable amount of prep time for everyone involved in these situations right now. And like he said, it's all made better when you've got a great teammate that you can rely on. Whether that's a great analyst or whether it's James looking out and having to see James Harden. Like, James Harden has to provide that for the Rockets tonight. I don't know if he's looked at with those eyes in that locker room, but as the best player, for better or for worse, if you're not the voice, you at least need to be the force out on the court that can relax guys a little bit, that can say, all right, James is coming out early and he's setting a tone. I can play a little bit better because I know he's got us.
It's Go Look and Wingo. I'm Jason Fitz in for Trey, Jr. in for Mike. And to that extent, I don't think Harden's legacy, which is always a weird conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't think the way we perceive Harden currently, right now, changes if they don't win this game. I don't believe that because we all know how good the Warriors are, and we all know that without CP3, this is a huge task. It would change for the positive if he comes out and has one of those epic once-in-a-lifetime nights and somehow they win. So this is one of those like playing with house money. I know that's an overused phrase, but I think Harden has a lot to gain and very little to lose in this.
He just can't do the thing last year. He can't disappear completely. You can't have that. If you go out there and play a good game, and we heard Wendy before and talking to Kesty, this idea that tonight, because of how banged up these teams are and because of how long the season is, we didn't see great basketball last night in the Eastern Conference game, and we might not see great basketball again tonight. It could be close, it can be competitive, but it could be a bit of a slog. And so you just can't go out there and lay an egg. If you go out and have a good game and still lose to a team that on their best day should win going away in this entire league, there's no shame in that. But there is a great deal of shame that will remind you of if you disappear on that stage again.
It's a great point that Kesty and Wendy have both told us that they expect tonight's game to be ugly and a grind because of the amount of rest that these guys haven't gotten lately, how worn down everybody is. It's going to be interesting to see that grind. I still feel like that all leans towards Golden State. Coming up next, Isaiah Thomas is an NBA Hall of Famer that played against Jordan, and he's now chimed in on the LeBron-Jordan debate in a way that you didn't think he might. We'll tell you that next. But first,
it's time for some straight talk. To win at basketball, it's all about your defensive coverage. Do you go one-on-one, zone? Don't. Zone is for cowards. Similar coverage debates happen when choosing your wireless provider. It really is. It really is. I mean, that's a Bomani Jones take that I've co-opted here, but zone is for cowards.
What if you need some help? I just need the help. Like, I can't go one-on-one with everybody.
You send help. It's a defensive rotation. Okay. It's all part of great coverage, and for great coverage, you should stick with Straight Talk. You know you're getting great coverage with Straight Talk Wireless because they use the exact same 4G LTE cell towers as the big carriers, but for up to 30% less. Get the ultimate unlimited plan for just $55 a month, no contract, on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Video typically streams at DVD quality. Refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com. Back after this, it's Golick and Wingo.
The new ESPN app, now with ESPN Plus. Baseball, hockey, soccer, and college football. You want more? I hope so. Because with Plus, you get new films, shows, and docs. The new ESPN app. Download now and sign up for ESPN Plus today.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Memorial Day sale at Ace. Right now, get 30% off gallons of our top paint brands like Valspar, Clark & Kensington, and Royal. And with the Ace Extra Mile Promise, we'll help you get everything you need to paint in one trip, or delivery is free. Don't miss the Memorial Day sale. 30% off our top paint brands, now through Monday, only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores on gallons only. Delivery subject to availability. Visit acehardware.com for more details.
Let's talk about some premium trios like 3-piece suits and 3D movies. But those who choose premium at the pump choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline for triple action engine protection against gunk, corrosion, and wear for optimal engine performance. And now through September 2nd, Fuel Reward members can save up to 10 cents a gallon after every fill-up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Rewards valid on future fill after minimum 5-gallon purchase. Members with silver status save up to 8 cents a gallon at participating Shell stations only. Limit 20 gallons. See fuelrewards.com/nitro for details.
Great food, great selection, great atmosphere. That is Addie's Bar and Grill at Stone Creek Golf Club. Addie's is the place for casual, relaxed dining with friends, pub-style food, a full-service bar with 12 beers on tap, and 11 flat-screen TVs to cheer on your team. Their private dining areas are great for your next party, too. For an online menu, visit addies.net and follow them on Facebook and Twitter for daily food and drink specials. Make Addie's your neighborhood destination off Stone Creek Boulevard in Urbana. It's something to come back for.
My wife found me not once, not twice, but 3 times within the same week, dead of a heroin overdose.
I was on the border of Mexico, homeless before too long, and gangsters had it out for me, and I was on my way to prison.
I lost everything, my family, my home, my kids.
I got divorced, lost my business, everything was gone.
I was either going to kill myself or kill somebody else.
I honestly did not think when I walked up to that door that I would ever make it out of my addiction alive.
Lifeline Connect is saving lives and giving people a second chance right here in our community. But they can only house 6 people in their program. Lifeline's goal is to build a 24-person dorm to help more lives, and we need your help. Go to lifelineconnect.org and give what you can.
The 2 employees we have, we couldn't ask for better role models and better employees. We're so appreciative to have had a second chance and to be into a job where they can really provide for their family.
From my knowledge of Lifelines, they have about a 70% success rate, and that's much higher than anything I've ever seen or heard of or from any other program in our area, for sure.
I learned a lot of things in Lifeline. One of the big things was to be a man of integrity. Integrity is something that's really pushed in Lifeline, and if we commit to something, we fulfill it.
I'm Troy Lands, asking you to join me, my company, and so many others in our community to support Lifeline Connect. We need more room to help more people. Your donation will make a difference. Go to lifelineconnect.org and give what you can. Thank you.
What a finish! What a play! Who will take home basketball's most coveted prize? The NBA Finals, Thursday at 9 Eastern on ABC and streaming live on the ESPN app. NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV.
Greg Cody of the Miami Herald has announced that we are the biggest and best radio show in America on Tuesdays.
You're welcome.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Life says you're bossy. When guys get called ambitious, you get called aggressive. They're confident, smart, capable. You're pushy, difficult, a know-it-all. Sports reject that idea into the third row. Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne. These women are ruthless. They're unapologetic, and they're winners. Life says you're bossy. Sports make you a boss. ESPN. Life needs sports.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Hey guys, whether you're built like a power forward or a power lifter, there's one clothing store that's built to fit you, DXL. While most stores might go up to size XL, that's where we begin, with a huge selection of famous brands like Lacoste, Levi's, Brooks Brothers, and more. So finding clothes that look great and fit even better is never a hassle. Stop by one of our 200-plus DXL stores or shop DestinationXL.com. Built to fit. Built XL. DXL.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts or it isn't. The Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales Event, now through May 31st, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
The Eastern Conference Finals went the distance. So did LeBron James. 48 minutes, 35 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, adding to LeBron James's legend. And for the fourth consecutive year, the Cleveland Cavaliers have won the Eastern Conference. They head to the NBA Finals. And for LeBron James, it is 8 straight NBA Finals.
ESPN Radio on the Call, Sports Center. Cavaliers are headed to their 4th straight NBA Finals after beating the Celtics 87-79 on the road in Game 7. LeBron James will be playing in his 8th straight Finals. He had 35 points, 15 boards, 9 assists to lead the Cavs comeback from an early 12-point deficit and the Celtics their first home loss of the playoffs. In racing, Will Power became the first Australian driver to win the Indy 500. He's the 5th first-time winner in the last 6 Indy 500s. Random fun fact. In baseball, the Indians beat the Astros 10-9 on a walk-off homer by Greg Allen in the 14th inning. Allen's first homer of the season, 2nd homer of his career. Cleveland scored 5 runs in the 9th inning to send it to extras. Crazy game.
That's Sports Center, brought to you by Discover Card. Become a new card member, and Discover Card will match all the cash back you've earned dollar for dollar at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
He'll never have a greater achievement than getting this team to the finals.
Vintage LeBron James racing back to reject the dunk attempt from Terry Rozier.
This can't just be another line in the history books. This was like winning a championship for LeBron.
Game 7 is heating up in Boston.
Here we go.
Held him under 100, but he still scored 35. It's a joke.
The Eastern Conference Finals went the distance. So did LeBron James. It is 8 straight NBA Finals.
It's ridiculous.
Man, it's a Game 7 sandwich, and it feels so good after last night. And I'll admit, I'm the guy that said earlier the Cavs were done and they weren't going to go to the finals, which really just, there's a period right when I said that. I was doing pretty well on the prediction stuff in life, like had a pretty good run going. I said that, and I don't think I've gotten anything right since. Like, that was the moment that I don't know what voodoo doll your dad has of me, like after I said that, but all of a sudden things have gone awry. I haven't gotten anything right in the playoffs. So I took Boston in 7. I lost that. I was very close to being precise on that. And instead, I'm absolutely an idiot because LeBron and the Celtics sort of showed their age. We talk so much about the age of the 76ers being a young basketball team. We forget the Celtics are actually younger. And I think all of those things showed last night. It's Golick and Wingo. I'm Jason Fitz in for Trey. Junior's in for Mike. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Also presented by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade to shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for just a fraction of the price. simply by joining DollarShaveClub.com today.
You didn't trust the true process. See, now you have to look at your process and adjust because that's what it's all about, and that's what the Cavaliers did this season. Everyone got suckered in to the January Cavs, and really January LeBron, which outside of the third quarter Warriors is the most consistent force in the NBA. Every January, LeBron James is going to give you some reason to doubt. There's going to be some complaint, and this year, I heard him talking about it after the game last night. He said, mid-season, when we had to make all those changes, he goes, I had to adjust my way of thinking. I wanted to get as much out of this season as I could. I wanted to get as much out of this group as I could and stop focusing on the wrong things. He adjusted his process, and now he gets to go to an 8th straight NBA Finals. You can adjust your process and maybe get better at picking, but probably not.
Probably not. No, I'm too dug in and stubborn. We all know that at this point. But ultimately, what this comes down to is LeBron. And it's funny, I said earlier that we want to say vintage LeBron. But there's a point where I don't buy that. I buy that LeBron might right now be playing better than vintage. Like, if you did the video game version of 2007 LeBron versus 2017 LeBron, I think that the 2018 version we're getting right now would whoop the younger one. I think he's that much better. He's bigger, stronger, and he's smarter. He's just better.
That's the weird place we've found ourselves, this weird cross-section in sports with some of the best athletes we have right now who are also some of the oldest. We see it with Tom Brady in the NFL. We see it with LeBron James. We see it in tennis with Roger Federer. And if Tiger Woods, when he comes back to this, we see these guys with unbelievable ability. And it's really more the three former than the latter because attrition has gotten to Tiger Woods' body. But for the rest of these guys, they've managed to stay healthy. They've managed to stay at a physical peak much longer than we've expected. And so when you combine that with all of the wealth of knowledge that comes with their experience, you create something that's basically unbeatable.
So this all feeds into the LeBron Jordan debate. We have an interesting twist on this. Don't make up your mind on this yet. First of all, last night it started with Kobe Bryant being very reasonable and maybe one of the most reasonable takes I've heard on this. We can enjoy one without tearing down one. I love what he's doing. Don't debate what can't be definitively won by anyone. That makes sense. And then he hashtagged, enjoy my 5, enjoy MJ6, enjoy LB Quest. I love this. Like, Kobe's coming in and saying, hey.
Kobe is a smart guy. Mm-hmm. Kobe is a very smart guy because you know what he's saying? I'm not involved in this conversation enough for my liking. I got an idea. I'll play the diplomat. I'll be the guy that comes in this, not with hot takes, but with reason. And I'll look at this and say what everyone's feeling at this point, because everyone's worn out in the fact that somehow we bring the LeBron Jordan debate back new every year and find some sort of way to insert it in the conversation. Kobe's saying, no, don't do that. But what is he saying first? Before either of those two, who are actually the center of the debate, hashtag enjoy my 5. This is well played. This is Kobe Bryant getting his Stugotz on right now and inserting himself into a conversation that people have really shown him the door on.
Somebody tweeted him back, an NBA guy tweeted him back and said, enjoy my 5. Kobe's angry. He's trapped at the kiddie table at the base of Mount Rushmore. Kobe actually clapped back to that and said, hashtag Annie, hashtag Oscar, hashtag Emmy. Safe to say I'm focused on another mountain, but I'm guessing it's hard to fathom athletes supporting other athletes to be great. Hashtag simple minds. He's calling you a simple mind.
No, I said Kobe Bryant is brilliant. He plays this in a perfect way. He's Teflon
or
right
he's
now.
Just supportive.
Kobe Bryant's he's halfway to an EGOT at this point. This guy has got levels to his game. He's like LeBron James. He's built up that mountain outside of sports, and so he can come in and say stuff like this. It's all a net benefit for Kobe. You can't win in this realm because, again, it's not a debate that has a winner or loser.
Well, and
check out Detail, by the way, on ESPN Plus. Great stuff.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
I'm surprised that would have been the next level to this. Just hashtag Detail at the end. That would have been the only level up on this. That's a free one for you, Kobe.
That's if there's only one reason to get. There's many reasons, but if you're going to pick one reason to get ESPN Plus Detail, is it's it. But this debate gets a little bit different now because we have somebody chiming in that played against Jordan. All right, this is not the Isaiah Thomas that we're saying where what's going on with his career. No, this is not that Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, the NBA Hall of Famer, he that played against Jordan in those famous bad boy days, has chimed in on the LeBron v. Jordan debate. Check this out.
And I say this with no disrespect to Jordan, and every time I say this, I get, well, Isaiah hates Jordan, doesn't like him, so forth and so on. That has nothing to do with it. But what I'm witnessing and seeing in LeBron James as a complete basketball player dominating this period of time. I haven't seen anyone else do that in our league with the exception of two people, and that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell.
Woo! So that's on Get Up this morning, where Isaiah Thomas just throws it out that if you want to talk most dominant players, he's got Kareem, Bill Russell. So at this point, he just is established with that. Kareem, Bill Russell, LeBron, all ahead of Jordan.
I'm telling you, these guys all follow the formula. Like, you want to get your voice heard out there in the masses, talk about LeBron and Jordan. And if you want to take it to the next level, be an old guy that talks about how much better LeBron is than Jordan, or be a young guy that says that Jordan is better than LeBron right now. That's the secret sauce, the contrarian play that'll make sure that your sound gets played all throughout the day.
You do have a fair point in the fact that I have to qualify which Isaiah Thomas I'm talking about. So there is some level of bringing he's putting his name back out there. He's putting his name back out
There's
there.
nothing wrong with that either. Get yourself a little bit of pub. If we're all going to be dumb enough to sit around and continue to have this argument, you might as well at least get your shine in it.
Well, let's get our shine in where it goes next. Coming up, the Celtics may have lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, but their future might be brighter than the team they just lost to. That's next. But first,
it's a word from ADT. Is your home an ADT home? Mine is. And it's awesome. If not, you need to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. I'm going to get you right, Fitz. I'm going to get you protected. I care about you.
Yeah, that's fair. You're going to give me the code to your place?
No, probably not. But for a limited time, you can get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. So that's even better than the code to my house.
Well, I mean, if I want to throw like a bender while you're out of town.
No, I've actually given them your picture, so they're aware. ADT is the first security company to actually help keep you safe at home and when you're on the go with the ADT app, so I can monitor Fitz when I'm out of town. Thank God. Go to ADT.com and take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. We're back after this. It's Golic and Wingo.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Here's a no-brainer. Barbasol is making razors. Try the new Barbasol Ultra 6 Plus today.
Why do we call it small business? Why not agile business, nimble business, dance circles around the big bulky behemoths business? Ooma Office, the small business phone solution, has a virtual receptionist to direct calls to the right extension and a mobile app to help you answer while away from the office. But all that's small really is the price, starting at only $19.95 a month. Visit Ooma.com, that's OOMA, or call 866-649-9377 to find out more. Ooma, the phone your small business deserves.
I'm Captain Obvious, and Hotels.com rewards me basically everywhere I stay. Hey, so why am I outside my beachfront suite, aimlessly leading a 40-guest conga through the streets of Myrtle Beach? Hey, because Hotels.com lets me do me. Hey, and because once you start a conga, apparently it's impossible to stop. Hey, I have no idea where I'm leading these people. Hey, Hotels.com. You do you and get rewarded.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Denison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know the quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus.
If you need your house painted this year, you need to contact Precision Painting. Chad Ebert and his team will paint your house so it lasts. Locally owned and operated, no job is too big or too small. And they have talented, experienced painters you can trust, and they don't job hop. Once they start on your house, they stay till it's done. Go to yprecision.com, check out their before and after pictures and references, and make sure you request an estimate because their summer will fill up fast. That's yprecision.com.
Winning can be fun, and we love giving away free stuff, but we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So here are the rules when competing to win on ESPN 93.5. No purchase necessary. Prize must be collected within 30 days during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2702 Boulder in Urbana. ESPN Radio assumes no liability due to circumstances beyond our control, and any prize may be substituted with a prize of equal or greater value. Winners are liable for any taxes, tips, or other miscellaneous charges associated with the prize. All contestants must have a valid ID and social security number. Our judges' decisions are final and reserved reserve the right to end any contest at any time for any reason without notice. In the event that a contestant is found to be ineligible for a prize, said prize will not be awarded. And if you win, we reserve the right to use your likeness or voice on the radio or online, and any winners must wait 30 days to win again. Get a complete list of rules and more information on any contest on ESPN Radio at ESPNCU.com. Those are the rules, and good luck from ESPN 93.5.
This year, Aaron's Memorial Day holiday weekend event is going to be more memorable than ever because just $5 gets you started leasing to own furniture, electronics, and appliances. And as always, there's no credit needed and free delivery and setup. Participating Aaron stores are open on Memorial Day. Don't miss it. Just $5 gets you started when you shop in-store or online from May 25th through the 28th during Aaron's Memorial Day holiday weekend event. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
If you're looking for a great car dealership, look no further than Honda BMW of Champaign. Ben Quattrone and his team just received the Honda President's Award in 2017, meaning they're one of the best Honda dealerships in America. They offer great deals. They have a tremendous service department with problems fixed right the first time and customer service that'll keep you coming back. So before you buy, make sure you give the award-winning Honda BMW of Champaign a chance to earn your business. Just off Neal at Burwash and Savoy, online, drivechampaign.com. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
To our very own resident smoker, Mikey C, Outsider Mike. We're asking you the worst person at the cookout, and someone chimes in, the cigarette smoker. Mikey, at your cookout, that's got to be everyone.
How else do you start the grill?
That's a fair point. See, it gives a whole new definition to the smoker there. I just assumed theirs is, instead of wood chips, full of cigarette butts.
I like this very particular example. Somebody says the worst guy is craft beer guy, and the quote is, "I'm having a monkey blood infused beer made with the tears of a mermaid and aged in a dungeon in Latvia for 5 years. I'm drinking 10 Bud Lights." That guy is, that's terrible.
You could call that a Porzingod, though. It'd have a great name, and I'm sure an even better label. That's just a branding idea for that guy, but I'm more on the Bud Latte train. You got to be the corny uncle who makes every sentence a pun as he holds the meat over your head. He says, "I hope you cook these right. The stakes are high."
You know what? I don't know why you guys are all out on puns. Puns are an American treasure. Like that's how people laugh.
That sounds like you.
Yeah, well, I do make a lot of puns. I like this one. The ex-girlfriend that your mom invites because she can't stand your current girlfriend.
You're better than her. Everyone knows it. Mom, after a couple of Chardonnays. Been there a time or two. This one, however, the overly sweaty guy that insists on bro-hugging everyone as they come and go. Listen, the overly sweaty guy didn't choose that, all right? Maybe he's got a problem, all right? Maybe you don't understand the life events that have brought him this point. He's trying his best to go out there and be dry. It's not something that he wants. It doesn't make him feel good knowing every handshake is clammy, that every hug is met with that discomfort the minute they touch your back and realize it seems like you just spent time taking a dip in the above-ground pool.
But see, the thing is, people expect that from you. I'm equally sweaty. They don't expect that from a little guy.
I wasn't talking about me.
The look of disgust. Oh, oops, my bad. Back in 10.
Mac and cheese, side dish, or main meal. Guess it depends on how much you eat and what else you're eating it. So I guess both of you are right and both of you are wrong.
That was existential, and also I'm pretty sure sounded like Brockmeyer is already wasted to start his Memorial Day off.
It definitely sounds like there was a little partying going on, like he's munchy for mac and cheese. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's gotten to the point where philosophy is on the menu for the day. That was SportsCenter, brought to you by Discover Card. Become a new card member, and Discover Card will match all the cash back you've earned dollar for dollar at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
So you're listening to Go Look and Wingo. Jason Fitz in for Trey, Junior in for Mike, and I'm going to be a beacon of light right now for Celtics fans. A beacon of light in a dark world, Mike.
How's that, Jason?
Think about this. The Celtics accomplished everything they accomplished without their what we expected to be their two best players. In the process, in Jason Tatum, we saw just a rock star, right? I mean, there's just a moment what we saw last night, but what we've seen throughout the playoffs in general.
It had a nice capstone last night, and the dunk heard around the world over LeBron James and the subsequent flex.
Which I had no problem with. I mean, you dunk on LeBron, you take that second. Like, if I dunk on a fat guy at a pickup game, I'm still going to do that. So I can't imagine dunking on like LeBron. Like, if I found a way to dunk on, or just make a shot on somebody like Jalen, I would talk so much trash at the end. So I respect it.
Speaking of all the cookout talk, this is the first time as a kid you get bold and try your dad in front of company. Like, you have that one moment where all of a sudden you think you're grown. Well, Jason Tatum didn't think he was grown. He reminded everyone that he is full grown last night, and now they've got to reckon with that. So you're right. That's been an interesting transition for a team that gets their guys back. That is the offseason for the Celtics.
Well, and they went 7 from 39 from threes last night. You heard that right. 7 of 39. That's 18%. That is not good. Kyrie Irving shot 41% from threes this season. Gordon Hayward shot 40% last season. So you got to think about what this offense is going to look like next year. Plus, I know it's not a high pick, but they do have a first-round draft pick. They're going to continue to sort of evolve there. So when you look at the East, well, the Cavs have, I think, the 8th pick in the draft, and the 76ers have the 10th pick. There's opportunity for those teams to get a little better through the draft. At the end of the day, the Cavs are going to be all about whatever LeBron decides to do this summer. The Celtics can look at this thing and say, hey, we were a year ahead of schedule. Nobody thought we'd get this far the way we were decimated. And when you add those other pieces in, they could be pretty formidable.
Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward matter, and don't get caught in the trap now of saying now that Jason Tatum has made this ascension to a legitimate star player in this league. Despite his age, he got a lot of meaningful playoff experience, and by the end, he was the guy. I mean, I don't think we would point to anyone else in that Celtics team. Al Horford is certainly a catalyst and a guy they run offense through. Jason Tatum is the one they needed to step up in big moments and did throughout this playoffs for them. But this doesn't mean that when he comes back, there's some sort of fit discussion, that somehow the style of basketball gets worse. You're adding two really great players to this. One in Kyrie Irving, who we saw with this team have a lot of success in the regular season. We won't fall in that trap. This team is going to be a lot better and could have legitimately 3 star players going into the next season because of that.
Now, after Tatum dunked on LeBron and then did the step-back 3, he didn't score another point over the final 6 minutes. Cavs outscored the Celtics 16-7 during that final minutes. LeBron led everybody with 6 points. You could make the argument that the chest bump and the dunk sort of increased the turbo button for LeBron. There was a point where he was like, all right, this is where we're going to go. I understand that. You sort of poked the belly of the beast, and then you got what you got from it. But I did think, even watching the game throughout, you think about who the ball needed to get to, how the offense needed to run, and who was there that you felt like could step up and make a shot, and it's Tatum. And one of the things that really surprised me was looking back at, we forget this, the video of LeBron walking off the court the last time he lost a series as he took off the Cavs jersey in 2007. And when he walked off the court, you realize how much smaller he was than he is now. The physical difference between LeBron then and LeBron now. And I look at Jason Tatum and I say, man, kid's 20. I mean, he's 20. You think about the physical difference in what we're going to see from him over the next 4 or 5 years, just in growth in stature. It's going to only increase his ability to take over and dominate a game. But he has that even at 20 years old, even in a moment where he should have felt outmatched. He never did to me. I thought that the moment was never bigger than he was.
They went back and showed his very first NBA shot because they played night 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Kyrie LeBron game. And Jason Tatum's very first shot got swatted by LeBron James. And he said in that moment he was pretty shook. And now, a season of growth later, they mentioned last night, he's 2 seasons removed from being a high school basketball player. His 1 season at Duke, and now this first year in the NBA. So you're right, a ton of physical maturation to go, a ton of mental maturity that he's already displayed right now. And that example of LeBron James, like these young players who have all come up, it's so weird now to hear guys say, you know, I grew up and LeBron was my favorite player, or grew up watching him, but they've grown up in an example of what it can look like when you do the right things with your body, when you take care of yourself to that level, and when you put basketball first.
Well, and it's that's a weird piece of it too when you think about what it's like to play somebody that you have that much respect for, you have that much, I don't want to say hero, but you know that's the wrong word, especially today.
It's strange to look at guys that you've watched and idolized like that. I remember sitting across the breakfast table in New Orleans in the offseason program with Drew Brees, and I'm like, what the hell is Drew Brees doing at a breakfast table with me? And you have to find a way, and these guys that excel do, to compartmentalize that and say, okay, no, we're peers now. I'm here. I have arrived.
And that's a piece of the development and growth that I think changes next year in the playoffs, right? Because Tatum addressed it afterwards and said, hey, man, it's really cool that I even got this opportunity to play against LeBron. And you think about that mindset. I'm not saying that was the mindset during the game, but that's sort of whatever the next level instinct is, that's not bred into the mindset yet of the Celtics. That's going to take time.
Yep, that is going to take time, but we saw seeds planted for that. Victor Oladipo got some of that early in the playoff run. Anthony Davis and that Pelicans team, and now this Boston Celtics squad, the Sixers, a lot of seeds planted for the future, but the present is tonight, Game 7 in the Western Conference.
We've talked a lot today about cookouts and side dishes. Obviously, all of that happens for a reason. I know it's kickoff of summer, but it's also Memorial Day. So we do want to send our thanks and our thoughts to the people that have served and the families of people that have served. That's why we have today's holiday. And I say, there's a reason for the season. There's a reason that everybody is out today and that we can all grill out. So we want to say thanks on behalf of this show, and also thanks to everybody.
To everyone that has given the ultimate sacrifice and continues to sacrifice for us here and abroad. A great amount of appreciation, and hope everyone enjoys the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a spectacular day. Get out there, have a great time, but be safe. We're back tomorrow, but we're adding an extra Golic. Thanks for hanging out. The Dan Le Batard Show next.
What does your morning sound like?
Goodbye, baby.
Is she asleep?
Yeah, finally.
Great. I picked up our favorite breakfast sandwiches from McDonald's.
Ooh. Oh.
My turn. Here's to making your morning routine a little better. Right now, mix and match 2 select breakfast sandwiches, like a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, a sausage McMuffin with egg, or a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $4. Breakfast at McDonald's. Single item at regular price at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Heavy rain this morning causing backed up traffic all the way to I-75.
Folks, we're number 9 on the list for takeoff, so settle in, keep those seatbelts fastened.
What's fries with that? Welcome to Westin.
Travel can be disruptive to your well-being. That's why at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we have rejuvenating heavenly beds, a nutritious superfoods RX menu, and a workout gear lending program to help you stay in control and rise above it all. Westin, let's rise.
Battery testing from AutoZone helps you do a lot. It saves someone from buying a new battery they didn't need. It helps start a truck, a car, a minivan, not once, but twice. And it proved that this ride only had a loose cable. Just one less thing to worry about. And it's just one of the services that AutoZone offers for free. From battery testing to helpful advice, doing more is what we do best. So visit any of our 5,500 AutoZone locations nationwide today. See store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
We've all had that feeling. Your heartbeat quickens, your eyes widen, the sky opens up and showers you in a million heart-shaped raindrops. You're in love with the perfect song. With Spotify, the more you listen, the better we get at helping you discover songs you love. So, whether it's the next breakout star or that song you danced to at prom, we'll help you find it and fall in love all over again. Download the free app today. Love what you love. Free on Spotify.
Hi, it's Stevie J. When I needed a new roof, I called Roof Doctors. Actually, called a lot of roofing companies to get estimates. But I felt great talking to Randy. I felt that he was honest, reliable, and affordable, and I felt I could trust him. You know what? I was right. They did a terrific job. After they did my roof, I had them do my mom's roof. You know how much you have to like a company to recommend to your mom? With 30 years of experience and the best warranties, call today for a free estimate at 328-7529 or go to roofdoctorsco.com.
Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo are coming to the Virginia Theater on Friday, June 15th. You could win tickets in the morning show on ESPN 93.5 from Stevie J and I. Make sure you tap into our phone line at 359-2255 and get ready to win. Tickets are on sale now at thevirginia.org with Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. A very intimate acoustic evening. Win from the Champaign Park District, the Virginia Theater, and ESPN 93.5.
Big Brothers Big Sisters of East Central Illinois presents Golf for Kids' Sake on Friday, June 8th with a shotgun start at 12:30 p.m. at Lake of the Woods Golf Course in Mahomet. The entry fee is $125 per golf or $500 per team. That includes 18-hole green fees, lunch and dinner, beverages. For more information, please contact James Benson at 355-2277 or visit bbscil.org. Presented by Ameren, Illinois and Walmart. This is Golf for Kids' Sake.
Give him that power.
He's created a yoga that has helped tens of thousands of people and that has hurt thousands of lives.
This is the story of Bikram. Listen now in the ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, and TuneIn.
It's a Memorial Day doubleheader on ESPN Radio. The Astros and Yankees, followed by the Giants and Rockies. Coverage begins today at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Exxon and Mobil.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Hey guys, whether you're built like a power forward or a power lifter, there's one clothing store that's built to fit you, DXL. While most stores might go up to size XL, that's where we begin, with a huge selection of famous brands like Lacoste, Levi's, Brooks Brothers, and more. So finding clothes that look great and fit even better is never a hassle. Stop by one of our 200 plus DXL stores or shop DestinationXL.com. Built to fit, built XL, DXL.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts or it isn't. The Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales Event, now through May 31st, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.